Hey, how's it, everybody? My name is Ken Arneson. I'm the area executive chef for Driftwood Hospitality. We operate about 87 hotels nationwide. Today, I am doing a very, very special recipe, something that very near and dear to my heart, Aloha Shoyu and their gluten-free product. I grew up actually with Aloha Shoyu, so it was part of my childhood. I know I don't look that old, but I am. But super excited to do this recipe for you guys today. But basically, it's a banh mi steak salad. Before everybody starts getting crazy, I know that banh mi is a sandwich. I know this. But I wouldn't be a chef if I didn't play with that theory a little bit. And so what we're going to do is the actual basis of the Aloha Shoyu gluten-free is actually in the marinade of the steak. And so we're actually going to make that marinade together. And then we're going to actually make the salad. And then we're going to put all those components together. And we're going to see how we can use Aloha Shoyu and the gluten-free product in a couple of different variations of this recipe. So we're going to jump right into it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the actual marinade itself. We're going to start with a little bit of sesame oil. So we're going to put about half a cup of sesame oil in there. And for that kind of the sweetness for it, we're going to use agave. This is Arizona, so we want to make sure that we pay homage to some of that fruit that's out here. So a little bit of sweet agave instead of using sugar or anything like that. It has a tendency to really complement the marinade a lot better than brown sugar will, where you would have to actually break down the brown sugar. And so from there, we're going to add a little bit of fresh ginger. So about a tablespoon and a half of fresh ginger, and then some black pepper, because we want to be able to put a little bit of spice in there and open up that palate so that you can receive the flavor really well. And then sea salt being kind of the key ingredient of the salts. The three major salts being kosher salt, sea salt, iodized salt. We're going to use sea salt for this one because we want those pops of salt in there to really complement the fatty structures of the meat. And then, of course, the piece de resistance, the gluten-free Aloha Shoyu. So we're going to add about a cup and a half of that to our recipe. That's about a cup and a half. Good stuff. As much as I would love to say that this entire recipe is gluten-free because we're using the gluten-free shoyu, we're going to talk about variations to this recipe that could actually make it gluten-free, because it is possible. All right, so we're just going to whisk that marinade together. Don't have to go too crazy on it because we did use the agave, so we don't have to break down any sugar granules or anything like that. But you should have a nice, sweet, briny, gingery, really beautiful flavor. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to take our proteins. In this case, we're actually going to use skirt steak that I've diced up, and we're actually going to marinate it in there. So we're going to throw about a pound of meat into our marinade, and then we're just going to, what we would call when I was a kid, we would call this lomi. And so we're just going to massage that meat together a little bit. And then from there, you're actually going to put that into the refrigerator, and you're going to let it set overnight. And so with this one, we're just going to set it aside, and we've actually already prepared some. And so what's going to happen is when that starts to marinate into the meat, it's going to start to break down. You're going to get this beautiful glazed marinated steak, and that's what we're actually going to use for our salad. So in our actual salad composition today, we're actually going to use arugula. We're going to use some pickled red onions, some heirloom cherry tomatoes, a little root vegetable slaw that's just been mixed with a little bit of pea shoots, some toasted pumpkin seeds with a little bit of cayenne, and then a little mixture that I call ancient grains with couscous. And so a little bit of farro mixed with some Israeli style couscous. And then we're going to toss that together and make a beautiful salad. But we're going to get this onto the stove, and we're going to start cooking this up. All right, so we've got a little bit of sesame oil in there, just to kind of give a little, since there's already oil in the actual marinade itself, we don't want to go too crazy. So just enough in there to keep the actual meat from sticking. Then we're going to take our marinated meat, once that pan is nice and hot. That's what we're looking for, is just that nice, beautiful sizzle. We're just going to let that sit in there. We're going to turn our heat down to just a little bit. Probably about medium heat, because we don't want to burn it. We just want all that agave, that soy sauce in there to just start to caramelize the meat, but we don't want it to burn the meat. So like I said before, we don't want to move that around too much. A nice cast iron skillet works out really well because it has a tendency of nice even heat. But if you don't have that, regular stainless steel pan will work too. But just remember, the secret is not moving it around too much. All right. So while that's cooking, we're going to go work on some of the salad portion of it. That when we bring this all together, it'll be perfect. Salad composition itself, we're going to use a little bit of arugula. I love arugula because it has that nice spicy texture to it. So it's kind of the best of kind of the spinach world and the lettuce world with just a hint of mustards, and gives it just a real nice complement to the actual marination of the meat itself. And then next we're going to use a little bit of pickled red onions. And all we did was pickle this in a little bit of red wine vinegar and some sugar and some salt. Super, super simple. We're going to add some of these heirloom cherry tomatoes in there. Just about half a cup or so. Then for a little bit of crunchy texture, we're going to use these pumpkin seeds that have been lightly toasted with some paprika and chili powder. I'm going to add that to it. And then earlier I was talking about that Israeli style couscous with that ancient farro grains in there. And so that's kind of where this salad kind of takes its composition from being a banh mi. Because banh mi, we know, is a sandwich that's made out of either meat or protein and pickled vegetables. And that's what we want to do, is add that acidity pop to this really intense and flavorful protein to make this beautiful salad. And the next thing I'm going to add is this soy vinaigrette. So the secret behind the soy vinaigrette is we've actually taken the same composition that I showed you before with the marinade. So we got the sesame oil, we got the agave, salt, pepper, ginger, and we've added the soy sauce and a little bit of lime juice. And that's the acidity that actually makes it a vinaigrette. So on top of the actual marinade with the addition of lime juice, that's really it. Because we actually don't want the compositions to actually fight each other. We wanted them to complement each other. And so staying with those same flavor compositions is kind of critical in making sure that these two pieces come together with the protein, the hot protein and the cold salad. So, all right, we're getting a beautiful kind of color on our steaks, and that's really what we want, is that beautiful kind of caramelization. Again, that's why we don't move that steak around too much, because we really want it to start to brown and sear, so you really kind of get that true feeling of a steak. Then from there, we're just going to mix this beautiful salad together. With just a little bit of finesse, we'll put a lot of the greens down first, then put some of those beautiful ingredients on top of it. So we can kind of showcase those and really get a bite in really every mouthful. Come back over to our steak. Our steak is absolutely gorgeous. We're just going to put it on one side. Have fun with it. It's got a really nice sweet smell to it. The aromatics on there are perfect. It's got that great caramelization, a little bit of saltiness from the soy sauce. And that's what I love about this. And if you ever wanted to make this salad gluten-free, you could do that by just excluding that Israeli couscous, and then you would have a completely gluten-free salad, and it'd be great for everybody. So the last thing we're going to do is just a little bit of that classic banh mi flavor, and that's those pickled vegetables. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to take those root vegetables that are finished up, so a little bit of carrots, carnival carrots, and some rutabagas, and some turnips that have been julienned, and we're just going to hit it with a little bit of rice wine vinegar, agave, and chili flake, and that's all that is. We're going to mix that together real heavy on the rice wine vinegar because we want it to have that nice, beautiful, acidic pickled vegetable feel. We're just going to mix that together. We're going to hit it with just a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, bring out all those flavors, cause that palate to really pop. And then we're going to take that. We're just going to garnish this salad with that. And that really is what makes this salad a banh mi steak salad, is these beautiful, beautiful pickled root vegetables, classic steak that's been seared off with a little bit of that gluten-free Aloha Shoyu. And that's a great salad right there. Really good for any day of the week. Thank you guys, everybody. Aloha and mahalo for being here. And I hope you enjoy.